What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York calling from the Alto again, and this time we got round two with Visions of Atlantis. We are here with Meek. Thank you so much for being here today. It's great to have you here.
You're more than welcome. It's always a pleasure, even just to get in touch with the United States. We just love your country.
Oh, thank you. We love it when you guys come here too, when you guys set sails to. But I got to tell you, how real are you guys? I see you guys traveling on a tour bus the last time you were here. I thought you would be taking a pirate ship to each.
Well, some places are unreachable without a proper vehicle that is, in line with the modern times. So that's the real deal.
Yeah, here in New York City, we've been doing a lot of those concert cruises and stuff. But like, they've been a lot of times with like hardcore bands. Like, we need to get like a pirate cruise here in New York City.
That'd be fantastic. And actually, I mean, nothing. Of course, like New York is one of my favorite cities all over the world, so I have nothing against New York. But they told me that even in Tampa, for instance, they have like a pirate meeting or something. And there are a couple cities in the US where there are actually like revocations or stuff like this, in which like people truly dress up, conventions with thousands of people dressing up. So I think I need to dig more into what's going on with piracy overseas.
We got to make that happen. We'll introduce you to a couple of people. I'm willing to bet that 90% of them are probably fans of your band and are willing to bet probably on like on the subscription Napalm Records mailing list or something like that. So like
Cool.
But it's so great to have you here because a lot has happened. You guys have been on a never-ending roll, but we got Pirates 2 Armada coming out. And is this like, for a listener to get the full concept of this album and to really dive in it, do you recommend that they go back and listen to Pirates, or could a listener, if they're just getting started with Visions of Atlantis now, that's not going to make too much of a...
No, it's not necessary. It's not necessary. Just imagine, novel books in which there is not a real story that starts at the beginning of the book and ends at the end, but there are, like, in our case, 12 novels that are told in the same universe. Mm-hmm. And basically, Pirates 1 is some novels that has been written a couple of years ago, and Pirates 2 is new novels, because at the very end of the day, we don't have a concept. It's not like it's of course, we have the world of pirates. This is our overall concept, but it's not a concept album in which there is a story with characters, and a storyline that goes on throughout the various tracks. Each song is somehow, let's say, a pirate novel with some strong meaning behind it, because there is always a strong meaning behind everything we do. But it's not, for this reason, it's not necessary to start with Pirates 1. But I'm sure that listening to Pirates 2, if you don't know Pirates 1, you will be like, hey, I gotta dig more into that.
When you came into Visions of Atlantis in 2018, I can't remember if it's Wanderers or The Deep in the Dark that was your first record with the band. But when you joined up, were you looking at, albums such as Delta or Trinity or Castaway, being like, this is how I'm supposed to sing, this is what I'm supposed to do? Or were you kind of given full range to bring a little bit of your own mix into Visions of Atlantis, given your past with many bands such as Overtures and Futures Tomorrow, Temperance, and etc.?
Yeah, no, I was pretty straightforward from the very beginning. I'm one of these artists that truly cares about personality, not only of my own personality but also of the band's personality. And choosing a singer means choosing in our case, one of the voices. In other bands, it could be the voice if there is only one singer. But in the Visions of Atlantis case, it would mean choosing a voice that will present the band. And I believe that the personality of the singer is somehow, it has a strong impact on the listener. And I was like, I have my voice, I'm gonna sing my own way because this is me. So it has to be clear from the very beginning that it's not like I'm going to mock the previous singers, or I will try to do something that is not mine, And at the very end of the day, I think this was one of the great choices that we've done in the last years, because since my arrival in Visions of Atlantis, so many things evolved. And I'm not saying that this is thanks to me. I'm absolutely not an ego person. It's always a team that works all together. We just found the perfect balance right now. And this teamwork has brought to a lot of evolutions in the band. And trying to find our own vocal personality without trying to, emulate Nightwish or Epica or some other symphonic metal band is one of the biggest steps that we've ever done. And with a hand on my heart, I can say that the truth is that we only did this step in Pirates. When I joined the band, it was good songs. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here, not even talking about them. Even before, like Delta Trinity, these are milestones records of symphonic metal. It was a different age, but the band sounded more generic than it sounds now. Now, when you listen to the new material, it's like, okay, this is Visions of Atlantis, as well as you say the same for Powerwolf or Ghost. When you immediately recognize, okay, that is that band, and this is so relevant, so important.
Well, I got to tell you that your song Clocks, I think, is one of the best, if not the best song ever, like in this sort of genre, because the catchiness behind it, the urgency behind it, the flow behind it, it like hits the nail on the head in composition and lyricism. I do make that kind of my theme song whenever I'm in a rush somewhere that it kind of gives that sense of urgency, and it's just a remarkable song. But when it comes to singing together with Clementine, because you both have your distinct individual voices, do both of you need to be kind of in the same mind frame, be in the same emotional headspace when writing the lyrics together and singing together? Or being that you both have your own distinct voices, it's better if you're kind of in your own individual worlds?
We compose together right now. This is something that, it's not written anywhere, so someone might be really interested in understanding this, especially if you are listening to this interview, to this interview. All our songs, they start with an idea that for Pirates too, like the 90% of the melodies and the music was written by myself. But when I put down the first draft, the first thing I do is I send it to Clemmy. I ask her to sing a demo over it, and some random lyrics, and without caring too much about the color and the dynamics, just to see how it fits, how it dresses her voice. And after that, we start discussing about, intention, dynamics, energy, emotion that we need to transport, concept behind the song. So there is this moment in which, from the first scratch, you give life to the song, and this definitely is born by the musical cooperation between Clemmy and I. So at the very moment in which we start recording the song, and then later on when we have to present it live, we know the background of the song, so we know the entire story of the song, and it's inevitable that we know what the other thinks, we know what the other will do. So there is a big coordination, and I would say a strong chemistry, vocally wise, between Clemmy and I, that gives life to Visions of Atlantis nowadays.
Absolutely. Do you feel when you are singing together, though, because again, the music is about pirates, no doubt, but there is a very famous saying, "We are what we create." Now, now forgive me for assuming, but I know that when you're off that stage, you're not in the same attire every minute of every day. So do you feel like when you are performing on this album and you're performing live, that you are portraying a character, that you are portraying an entity outside of who you are? Or is there still at all any of your own personality in it, maybe your own personal experiences that could influence the music?
Yeah, rather than someone that is outside of who I am, it's someone that is inside of who I am, I always say this, we are grown-up kids, at a certain point, there is always an inner child inside of us that wants to have fun, wants to play, wants to release, wants to enjoy life, we are overloaded, especially nowadays, with duties, with, tasks that we need to complete. We wake up and the first thought after, I just woke up, what a beautiful day, or what a shitty day, is now what do I have to do? And I believe that music is one of the biggest ways out that we have as humans to find something that we cannot have in the real life, which is some form of happiness that is ethereal maybe, but at the same time it's so important to truly enjoy the world in which we're living, So that pirate that goes on stage is the kid inside of me, I've grown up playing pirate video games. I've loved pirate movies, so I'm extremely happy of what we are doing. And of course, this common how to say, this common passion that we have for piracy is what made us decide to go pirates. It's not like no one likes pirates and Visions of Atlantis, but we feel like we are forced to do it because it's a marketing move. Basically, the common passion that the inner child, the inner kids of Visions of Atlantis had was piracy for one or for the other reason. And this, what we present on stage is our inner child that is having fun without, filters, without duties, without tasks. We just enjoy what we're doing.
I could tell that, and that really reflects in your audience, because I've seen Visions of Atlantis twice now. The first time, the headline show at Brooklyn Meadows, great time.
Brooklyn.
Yep. And then I saw you guys at Gramercy Theater, which I live 4 blocks away from, which is...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, going to a show there is so convenient. You have no idea. I would be doing in-person interviews here, and the tour manager's like, how soon can you get here? Can we do it early? And I'm like, there in 5 minutes. But when you are on that stage, we're not on a pirate ship, we're not on the coast, we're not walking the plank, if you will. So do you almost, when you're in like a different venue and whatnot, do you almost kind of envision yourself not at a venue? Do you almost kind of look out at the audience and see yourself at sea almost, or put yourself in a different setting outside of the stage?
Yeah, this happens. This truly happens, and this is also the reason why we are trying to improve and increase the production of our stage. Especially starting from this summer, we have had some sort of ship deck built so that we can take it on stage to create this universe. Because in the very end, I believe that it's so important to transport people in this universe that we are presenting, to make it somehow real, to make it something concrete in front of for our fans, something that you have in front of your eyes and that you can touch. And it's not as easy as for us, for our fans, and for those who go to a show to impersonate into a character or to pretend that they are into this pirate adventure. But the truth is that you can truly free yourself and you can truly be truly into what we are doing if you grasp this entire pirate universe that we are recreating, and even you as a listener pretend that you are a pirate. That's why we are inviting our fans to actually dress up at the concerts, so that they can play with this thing, that they can also unleash this inner child, and it's not about carnival, it's about telling yourself, okay, for one freaking evening, I don't want to know what's going to happen tomorrow at my work, and I don't want to know about like taxes to pay or about bills and everything else. I just want to enjoy. And if you think of it, this is the same thing that happens in video games or when you go to the cinema. Because if you play, I don't know, Diablo or Sea of Skulls, just to mention a pirate video game, like if you play a video game with a universe, the moment in which you start playing, there is your character there. It's not yourself. You are taking control over a character. Or if you go and watch the Avengers or any Marvel movie or, like DC or whatever it is, Batman, you are into an alternative reality. And you believe that reality because of what you see, because of like the what the computer graphic does, but also the way it's presented and introduced to you. So you trust what you're seeing. And this is the same thing that we are trying to reach. This is why we try to say that we are a cinematic metal band, not only a cinematic pirate metal band in this case, because we want people to believe in what they're doing. And this starts from us. If I go on stage and I believe that I'm the same Mick of every day and not the pirate that I'm impersonating, it would be like it cannot work. If I don't believe myself in what I'm doing, it's impossible to make someone else believe in it.
See, a lot of metal bands assume that if when you're playing live and you don't have the audience going moshing and circle pitting and crowd surfing, that maybe but I think you definitely succeed in getting the crowd to mosh and have a good time and all that. But what I think is also makes Visions of Atlantis such a remarkable band is that I enjoy sitting and watching you guys just from the seats and just kind of getting lost. Like I watch your set at Gramercy Theater like I was at the cinema, and just kind of kept my eyes on it the whole time. Like I'm not one to dress up for shows, at least not anymore. I used to wear the corpse paint in black metal shows, but
okay.
Yeah, but I just like to sit and watch, and I think that is what makes Visions of Atlantis so good. Look, there are some bands, I'll give you an example. I go to a lot of hardcore shows. if you're going to a hardcore show, you're standing up there, you're watching your ass, everybody's moving, there's no room to sit down at that show. That's totally cool. But if that same band could also get people to sit and watch and just keep their eyes and get lost at the performance, that's another accomplishment in yourself, and I think you're able to accomplish both of those.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, there are different purposes. Hardcore and in general modern metal is definitely more real, more down to earth in the presentation. And sometimes you go there either to, like physically release your body and have fun, like mosh pitting, circle pitting, and banging your head for the entire show. Or, for instance, there are like sometimes political concepts that are expressed, or like messages that are truly direct, like in the real life. And this is one purpose of music. Punk rock was doing this, and punk in general did this since ages and ages now. It's 50 or 60 years ago now. If you think of it, the 70s are 50 years ago. That's how far they are. And punk rock bands were screaming, messages of freedom or political messages clearly. What we want to do is completely different. And again, I gotta call in the three arts, literature, cinema, and music. And what we try to do is to merge these three things in heavy metal, because our stories are novels, as I said before, that are written to leave the listener with a meaning, with something that will stay with you, like ancient novels with a morality behind it. Then you have the cinematic aspect that wants to involve you visually so that you can trust what you're seeing, so that it doesn't just feel like, okay, it's Halloween, like they're dressed up for Halloween and they're putting on a show for no reason. So that, these novels that we are telling have a universe. And then, of course, there is the music that needs to follow in terms of choice of instruments, choice of arrangements. Because, of course, if we do cinematic pirate metal, you can't go there and play with synths. It would be completely anachronistic, it would make no sense.
You led me perfectly into this question I wanted to ask you, actually, because pirate metal, I feel like, has now become, with you guys, Swashbuckle, Ailstorm, Dread Crew of Oddwood, and so many bands have really cultivated the pirate theme, but it's almost taken like the same route as Viking metal in a way. So let me ask you now. Let's say you took the same lyrics, like, let's take Clocks, for example, but the song sounded like Hatebreed. Tick, tick, tock around the clock. Like, would it still be pirate metal if it...
I would say that no, probably no. Like my answer is no. I believe that the thing that goes on with the pirate, like the peculiarity of pirate metal is to be somehow connected in a way to the pirate universe. Some bands that you mentioned, they do it like literally choosing instruments that belong to the age of pirates and recalling the structures of the sea shanties. So Ailstorm is one of these, of course, but there are so many. If you strip down a song of Ailstorm, you end up with a sea shanty. If you strip it down from the electric guitar and the drums, and you just play it with an acoustic guitar or a banjo, or what's the name in English of this instrument?
Accordion.
The accordion, exactly. Like that would totally sound like a pirate song from a sea shanty that you could hear in a tavern from pirates drinking grog or rum. Our approach is a bit different because, once again, our idea is to create soundtracks for a pirate movie. Therefore, once again, the cinematic pirate metal slogan that we are using. But if you just strip it down and sing it in a different way without using the proper instrument, no, it would not be the same. Yeah. I think it's rare that it's only about the lyrics. It's same goes for other genres. You cannot just sing about Viking and say, hey, I'm a Viking metal band. Yeah. There needs to be the epic attitude, the epic vibe along the song.
Yeah, because when people say Viking metal, like, it makes sense in a way to me, because when I hear Viking, if I never listened to Viking metal and then somebody played me like an Amon Amarth song for the first time, it would make immediate sense. This sounds like Vikings in a metal band. Same for Visions of Atlantis. If I'd never heard of you guys before, somebody played me for you for the first time, I would immediately be like, oh, this is without a doubt pirate metal. This is what it would sound like. But at the same time, I look at the lyrics. You're telling stories about pirates. So if I looked at the lyrics without listening to you, I would wonder, like, pirate metal on paper makes you wonder, what is that? Is it metal music that sings about pirates, or is it pirates playing heavy metal music? It's a weird, and this goes back into the whole like different categories of subgenres and all that, and like people are calling, there's a genre called Nintendo core because they're
with the 8-bit sounds.
Yeah, true, with the 8-bit sounds. But when they don't have those 8-bit sounds, they sound like Shadows Fall. So, like, is it just because they're singing about Mario and Zelda and Donkey Kong, if that makes it Nintendo? To me, there is more than just the subject matter you sing about, in a way. But it could also go vice versa. Let's say you sang about political issues or something very personal, but had the same exact type of music that we're hearing, and just the lyrics are different. How much of a pirate metal band would it be then?
I would say it's the same. Like, we wouldn't sound like a pirate metal band, but we sound like a symphonic metal band, like any other symphonic metal band. I believe that the competition happens the moment in which both things are happening, like the moment in which both things are put together. You have to have the lyrics and you have to have the music. It's not only music, it's not only lyrics, because some themes they might evoke the sea. There are some songs, especially in Pirates 2, like if you press play, the very first song is an intro in which you hear the sound of the sea. You hear Clemmy on her own singing with ethnic instruments. So this sets the mood, and we did it on purpose so that from the very first second you can say, okay, now I'm there. I'm on the ocean. But then, if the lyrics would sing about politics, someone would say, okay, this is an interesting way of presenting it, but it wouldn't say this is a pirate metal band.
Yeah.
Someone wouldn't say it's a pirate metal band. So it has to go together.
Yeah.
I believe it has to go together.
It's really strange in a way where, like, I can't picture a band that doesn't sound like you guys singing about pirates. And the same goes, I can't picture a band singing about certain political issues without immediately jumping to a conclusion like a Rage Against the Machine or something like that. So it's always fascinating. Some people say that lyrics are the absolute last thing, and for some bands it's not the priority, and that's fine. Every band is different, but it really, I think you guys are a testament to show on just how much the lyrics can really impact everything.
Yeah, as I said, it's like absolutely 33% of what we do is the lyrics, 33 is the music, and 33 is the visuals. We truly are committed, on this level. If you think other bands, and I don't want to talk bad about anyone, but other bands, they just say, okay, we are a, Viking metal band, but they don't go on stage dressed up. And this, in my opinion, it's, the 33% is missing to me. Yeah. Because I don't buy it. I don't buy it, I can't just take the music and the lyrics to say, okay, this is it, Yeah. Like the eyes wants their part, especially in a world where we see everything, we are attached to screens, and there is Netflix series every 2 weeks that pop up talking about elves or whatever.
Yeah, it's insane. So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time, and most of all, thank you for continuing to give us new music that always takes us on an epic adventure. Like, for me, when a new Visions of Atlantis album comes out, it reminds me of like when I would be excited for like the new Zelda game. In a way, like, we have an adventure, we have a new adventure, a new adventure awaits, in a way. So it's like I'm getting excited in multiple different ways. Is there just anything else with Visions of Atlantis you would like to promote with the release of Pirates 2, Armada coming up? Any upcoming shows, tours? What else?
Well, I will tell you something that I didn't tell to anyone yet. We are planning to come back to the United States in probably first quarter of 2025.
Hell yeah.
So since this interview, I believe it's going to be US oriented, given that, your location. I think this will be something important, and we will come back promoting Armada as headliners. So keep your eyes on our social networks, because the first step now, it's the release of the record. We have plenty of summer festivals in Europe. We have our biggest tour ever in Europe, which is the Armada tour. That tour won't stop in Europe. We will try to take it everywhere we can, and we are already working on the US, because I have to admit, I truly have to admit that when we first came in 2000, actually it was 2020, then the pandemic happened, and we got the chance to come back in 2022. I would have never expected to, develop such a strong connection with your country ever in my life. Now I'm truly looking forward every day. I can't wait for the next time I'll be back. I love everything, and the idea of Visions of Atlantis not playing there would make me suffer. Honestly,
we love you in the United States, and every time you come, because we know
it's clear, and it makes me so happy.
Yeah, and look, a lot of people know you don't have to work in this industry or talk to bands to know that coming to the United States is beyond difficult with visas and arrangements, customs, and all that. So when you come, and we're talking even before the pandemic was an issue. European bands coming here was always
absolutely
was always a tour. So when you're able to come to our country and bring us your music, it's more than just a gift to us. We're forever grateful. It is, I go to concerts regularly. I go to concerts all the time, and there's been a lot of times now where I could be like, I'll catch them next time. But I try not to take any band coming from Europe and having to go through all that for granted when you come here. So we are very thankful that you get to bring your music to us.
We feel it. Believe me, we feel it, and we are extremely thankful. And for this reason, we will keep on, putting all the efforts that are needed. We don't give a shit about the prices of the visas we will pay, because at the very end of the day, it's the emotion. It's the emotion that we feel and the love that we feel. This just feels right and beautiful. So we can only be thankful.
But we'll smuggle you in if we have to. So,
thank you.
Homeland Security just tapped in. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. We are here with Visions of Atlantis, Pirates 2 Armada. Be sure to check that out. We will see you next time on Heavy New York.
Ahoy.